Welcome to the AJ Brown Show, where we talk about all things investing, options trading, and the like. Now, here's your host, AJ, whose primary mission in life is to help you become a better investor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the AJ Brown Show. This is episode 221. Today is the last trading day of January 2026, January 30th. My name is Cyprian Francis, and with me, as always, the main man of the hour, Mr. AJ Brown. AJ, how are you doing this morning? You staying warm out there?
It's cold. It's cold in Washington, D.C. It's cold and it's icy, and nobody around here knows what to do with the ice.
You mean with the piles and piles of snow? Because I'm seeing a lot of videos coming out where people are starting to complain about the inefficiencies there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what it is there's like a 2-inch layer of just concrete like ice on top of about 3 to 5 inches of snow. And so nobody knows how to break through the ice and they're all slipping. I was talking to a friend at the gym today about, although it's probably not the best thing, I am just getting, when I drive by somebody who's waiting at a bus stop and they slip, I think it's the most hilarious thing. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but it is funny to see all the different slips and slides.
Well, I was outside in short sleeves and shorts yesterday, just thinking to myself, I can't believe this weather's so nice in January. Just
Oh
blew
my
my mind.
gosh, Los Angeles, right?
But with that, I feel like we've had a pretty wild week this week, AJ. We've got, we had the Fed news coming out, which didn't really move the market. And then if
No.
I had to extract, the big mover this week, I keep seeing two things coming up on my radar, and that's Microsoft and gold and metals in general. What are you seeing? What's driving the market? Where do you want to begin today's analysis?
Well, why don't we take a look at, you mentioned our precious metals, but also oil. But let's look at precious metals. So gold had a big spike earlier this week and then is back down to where it was last Friday. But the spike was so big. Gold went from about 5,000 up to 5,300. We're back down at 5,050. So it looks like gold is plummeting, but it's really because in the beginning of the week it popped. Silver did the same thing, right? Silver jumped over $115 an ounce. My God, if you would have told me 3 years ago when silver was trading down at the usual price of between $30 and $40 an ounce, that it would be trading at $115 an ounce, I would have never believed you. But yeah, look at oil. Oil has popped up in the last week. We've been at $60, $55, between 55 and 60 for the last, I don't know. It's been going sideways for a while, and then all of a sudden we popped up. Probably, I'm not sure if it's on the Iran stuff or the Venezuela stuff, but we're up at $65. There's a whole bunch of theories about why it's popping, but it's popping. Bitcoin is dropping. Bitcoin's down at $83,000 a Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's at 3-month lows, and maybe even more than that, maybe more like 6-month or even 1-year lows. So yeah, there's some topsy-turvy happening, aren't there?
Yeah, and I found a pretty interesting tweet that kind of doubles down on that, just to kind of showcase the volatility in the last 24 hours. But gold, 10% move, 4.1 trillion off the books. Silver, 21%. I know we talked about silver last week as being kind of a weird metal to be up, but all the metals definitely pulling back. And then, like you said, the cryptos is if I had to guess what's driving that, I mean, the only thing I kept drawing to is the Microsoft news. But is there other correlation
I
to the
mean,
pullback here?
there's just so much uncertainty and confusion whether we should be putting risk on or risk off. The treasuries, the yields on the treasuries have been all over the map this week. One thing I wanted to point out really quick, I pay attention every month to consumer confidence consumer confidence, and I say this every month. If you guys look at, shows three weeks ago, I said the same thing. I've never seen consumer confidence this low. To have it come in at 84.5, usually consumer confidence in normal times is running between 100, 110. To have it at 84.5, I mean, the consumer is starting to, and remember, the US economy is pretty much a consumer driven economy. The Fed is already tweaking their holding of treasury bonds. They're starting to buy again. That's called quantitative easing. The Fed creates some funny money and then goes out and buys really good treasury bonds in order to change the yield. Sometimes they even go as far as buying some mortgage-backed securities. Probably just doing some treasury bonds right now to directly affect long-term rates. Yeah, it's just all topsy-turvy. Today we got some producer price index numbers that I think is pissing people off, because inflation seems to be, um, not in control according to this wholesale inflation number. Although, there's so many measures of this, but we're up at 3.7, 3.5 when you start factoring out the more volatile food and energy. That's not a good number to be up at. We'd probably want it to be more down in the 2 to 3 range. And finally, Trump today named who's going to be Jerome's predecessor, Kevin Warsh versus Kevin Hassett. Kevin Hassett's gonna stay in his role. Those were the 2 kinda contenders. Trump likes the Kevins. I don't know if Warsh is actually gonna be a bad name for the market. I think, of course, he's going to lower rates in the short term, but in the, medium to long term, I think that it's not gonna be a bad, selection for the Fed chair, and I think Jerome Powell actually unprecedentedly will probably stay on to kinda balance out and give some guidance to the new Fed chair. So, I think there's a lot of discussions on Fed independence. It's just all over the board, Sip. I just don't think investors know how to make heads or tails of what's going on right now.
Yeah, and with that, we've also got earnings coming into the mix. I know we had Apple yesterday, which I don't think's
Mhm.
really moving the market, but the Microsoft one did move the market. And here I found another stat that's kind of just interesting comparatively, but that sell off yesterday for Microsoft was the second most market cap decline in history. And so, you
Mhm.
know, is this part of like an unraveling of that AI that could be happening? Because they were talking about data centers and everybody got spooked, and this really did have a big rollover effect to start yesterday's session.
I mean, we've seen for the whole month of January this movement. All last year we had a handful of stocks, right? Um, Maybe 10 or 11, and they were mostly in the tech field, in the AI field, your Microsofts, your Apples, um, to a lesser extent, Tesla, things like that. We've been seeing money getting out of those and a sector rotation just about into anything else, right? We've seen mid caps and small caps, which don't usually drive the market. We've been seeing them kind of really take a lead. So yeah, um, I don't know if it's that people are abandoning or that we're starting to see the deflation of this AI bubble. And for me, it's not a matter of if it's going to deflate, it's more of when and how fast, right? I remember the dot-com bubble, about 25 years ago deflated quite quickly. I don't I'm thinking that the AI one will be a little bit more slowly, but days like Microsoft's uh, make you wonder if it's just going to pop. But I think I think I'm looking at the overall market, and I think that if anything, we're just going to be seeing some sector rotation and some sideways channeling. The big question that my program participants and I have been dealing with is whether or not swing trades will turn into trend reversal down trades, because they're kind of the same setup. And what happens is while you're waiting for your confirmation of the swing to start, you realize that signal stagnates, and instead all the trends start pointing down. So that's what we've been watching to see if we're going to start seeing some trend reversal downs.
And then, interestingly enough, to close yesterday's session, Amazon came out with a news that they may be investing 50 billion in OpenAI, and that kind of made up for the AI doldrums in the morning. And it seems to be kind of a storyline where we get some bad news, we get some good news, we get some bad news, we get something foreign affairs, we get something from the economy. We like it for a little bit, we don't like it, and looking at your S&P analysis, we're in this chop zone, right? And
We really are. We really are. So this is kind of my proprietary, it's not my proprietary, but I like to pretend it is, my rainbow analysis of what's going on. You know, we may have hit a high on January 27th, and by the way, that high just eked over the prior top. And so that puts us into yet another trend change, and we never even let the prior trend change mature. It never tested support and resistance twice. So we're already saying that January 12th we got a start of a new trend. January 20th we ended that prior trend that had only just started on December 31st. And so, a 20-day trend, I mean, that's exactly right. We've had 6 trend changes in the last 3.5 months, after having a 6-month period of a nice uptrend. So, yeah, I think that for our traders out there that are following us, um, you know, trying to trade the direction on this without some sort of insider information, right? Some sort of bias or insight is going to be quite difficult. And it's better if you've got your selling strategies, right? The selling strategies lock in, known reward, known max reward, known max risk, otherwise known, or instead of max risk, you could actually lock in some gains. So we say, hey, I know what my min reward, my max rewards are going to be. These are the type of strategies that I think are going to prevail when there's this much confusion and uncertainty on a day-to-day basis.
without a doubt, and that's one of the reasons that you created Trading Trainer. That's one of the reasons why you have such a robust community that comes together to try and find ways to make some moves in these markets. I was gonna just bring up the next segment topic that we do like to touch on, and that's the VIX. So AJ, I believe the last position was kind of a break even. We setting up for something else here?
So
I'm seeing a signal.
it was a break even for me, but I did get reports after last Friday's show that some of those folks who didn't jump the gun on the signal the way I did, but rather waited for the lower signal, actually hit max profit on a couple of these pop days from the whole Greenland debacle. Um, I see this signal here, but look, Sip, we're up here at $16, $17 a VIX. It's giving me memories of jumping in here and then having to white knuckle it. I'm almost, and again, I'm going to tell you what I told my program participants. Let's wait and be patient for the VIX to actually give us a nice bottom towards that bottom. Remember, the VIX is a measurement of confidence versus fear, right? And we're in that mid zone here. So we like to place our VIX hedging trade when there's, the most confidence that we've seen in a while. So let's let another bottom form, and let's try to, see it come down to 14 or 15 before we put on that hedging trade.
Wonderful. And folks, if you're interested in more about this specific VIX trade, I know AJ's working on some cool assets and tools to help
Yeah.
explain this a little bit more. But also, we have a number of YouTube videos from previous episodes where AJ kind of gives a breakdown. And finally, this awesome signal tool that gives you the red arrow and the green arrow is available to everybody free of charge. Head on over to the link in the chat. head on over to the link in the scroll bar and we'll get you access to that. We do have a special guest on today's show. And so,
I'm stoked.
AJ, you and I can, we can go for an hour here and talk about all sorts of topics and pop culture and this and that. But today's guest does have a unique product and a unique insight, and I believe some of your participants, we're really stoked to learn about this. So we're gonna take a short break here, and then we'll bring our special guest on. As always, the links to these things that we're talking about is in the chat. Also, we're going to get you links to our special guests program and access to his software as well. So just keep an eye on that in the chat. Otherwise, sit tight, folks. We'll be back in a jiffy. Special guests coming on in a couple seconds.
I get it. You're afraid of trading in the markets. Guess what? I've got your answer. I've got 4 strategies I'm going to give you along with the tools to make it super easy. I'm going right home, giving you the webinar. I need you to sign up below and meet me in a few minutes.
All right, so let's go ahead and bring up this wonderful software that we're talking about. But as some of our lovely fans out there around the world know, we like to bring special guests that have a unique perspective on the market, that have created some tools, that have shown success in the area, and willing to share some of this advice and knowledge with our lovely audience. And so today we've got Matthew Menster of Trade the Grade with us, which is essentially a research dashboard tool that kind of helps backtest performance data on analysts, upgrades, downgrades, and whatnot. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Matthew onto the stream. Good morning, Matthew. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and thanks, AJ and Sip. And yeah, I've got a really interesting way to approach the markets, and it's basically along the lines of analyst actions.
What was the specific, Matt? This tool is so well. Actually, can you give us a quick summary? You gave me some access for a couple weeks here, which is awesome. And I saw in there the hot sheet. I saw the setup grade. I saw AI Anna is in there. I seen the 915 playbook that I could follow. What's the philosophy behind this?
Yeah, great question, AJ. So the philosophy behind it is that there is usually on any given day the market is open. There's at least probably 200, but more like about 300 analyst actions every single day on publicly traded stocks. So that's a lot. That's a lot to sort through. But I've always been interested in knowing, hey, how can I figure out which, if any of these upgrades or downgrades or price target changes may be actionable as a trader? So whether I'm being a directional trader or whether I'm selling premium, like a lot of your traders probably are, AJ, which one of these out of these 200 or 300, if I could just filter them down into maybe 2 or 3 or half a dozen or maybe 10 or 15, which ones are going to be most actionable? And then basically you can go through and look at them and get the context as to why those analysts did what they did, any kind of commentary they may have that's associated with those analyst actions. And then as a self-directed trader, you then can use that as something that you can, generate a trade idea based off of that information.
So it's not really buy sell alerts. It's more focusing on, the actual data of the analysts and some back testing, right?
Yes. And it actually shows you, like, you can go through up to the last 30 days and you can go see exactly which analyst actions moved stocks. So if it was a bearish action, you can see which ones led to a notable decline in a stock, or if they were interpreted as bullish actions, which ones actually led to significant moves to the upside.
Let me ask you, you're it sounds like you're actually like trending these analysts, like the performance that rather than just taking their actual like advice, their words. What was that specific, aha moment when you realized that you should be like tracking it instead of just listening to their verbiage?
Well, because I've told somebody this before, but I've scratched my own itch with this platform. I've been working on this for about 3 years, probably a little over that, but I was always intrigued by. I used to go through and read the analyst actions every morning, and it's a lot of them. But I would look through and I would say, okay, you know what? This one actually looks like it might be something that could be actionable. So it's not necessarily about the individual analysts themselves. I mean, that's great when you start to use this tool a lot. You'll start to see some names and recognize them. And there actually is a way to add individual analysts or analyst shops to your watch list. But it's more so about the actual upgrade, downgrade, price target change itself, and the context that surrounds it. That seems to be most important to me.
Do you want a demo or is
Yeah.
there something? Yeah, yeah. Show us how this thing works.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Sip. Okay, guys. So what you have on your screen here is after you log in, if you had a membership or free trial, like we're going to tell you about here in a second, you could log in here and see exactly what I'm showing to you right now. So when you log in, there's a lot of information here, but it is all organized in such a way for an active trader to come in and make the most of their real estate on their screen without having to switch around too much. So when you come in here, like you mentioned, the setup grade, AJ. So
Yeah.
if I'm just getting started, when you come in, I'm going to have the analyst importance settings set to all. Now, if I slide this over, it's going to reduce the amount of actions on here because there's sort of an algorithm that filters through some of these actions to try to dwindle down the list for you. So that's the whole idea behind the platform, dwindle it down into ones that are actionable. But anyways, I like to keep it on all, and then I'll come down and I like to look and see, get a quick look at the double moves, the double upgrades and downgrades. So that means on a 5-tier scale, these stocks are moved to at least 2 levels. So hold is a level 3 to a buy, which is a buy or a strong buy, which is 2 levels. So anyways, but the point is it's a significant change in analyst sentiment, at least for these individual stocks and these individual analysts, right?
Now, why do those double upgrades, why does that carry so much more weight than a standard upgrade?
Because they're rare
Okay.
in comparison. Yeah. So, you've got, like, you can come up here and just sort through single upgrades if you want to.
I love it. I love it. But the double upgrades
Yeah.
the double moves give us a stronger signal. I love that.
Yep. And then you can come down here, and this is price target changes. We'll get to that in a second. But you can come down here and just sort them. So the setup grade, which, is really, really exciting to me when we were able to develop that and implement that into the platform, it ranks it. So like if I mouse over the setup grade here, it's going to tell me based on recent back tests, it's going to show me that on an A setup. Now it looks like we don't have any A+ setups today for some reason. Kind of a slow Friday, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on average, the peak 3-day move after an A setup, a bullish setup, is 4%, 7 days 6.8%, and 14 days 8.8%, and an average drawdown 2.5%. So you've got a lot of data here at your fingertips. And you're able to sort these like I just did with that sorting function. But if you just want to use the filter here, you could come right here and you say you just want to see A setups, and then it's going to drastically reduce this list from 200-300 to probably 10, 30, 20, 30, something like that. Now with the next thing is the price target. So you just slow me down if you need me to, AJ.
No, I'm following.
Last time I did a webinar with a friend who's like, you probably need to end it. You've been going on for an hour.
No, I'm following. So the price target.
All right. So the price target movers. So these are significant. You've got SanDisk. This is the biggest price target mover of the day so far. as a price target change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So if you hover over, so let's say you're a new trader, you never heard of SanDisk, you can hover over the I. It's going to tell you, give you a summary of the company. Okay. So there's that. And then if you hover over the ticker, it's going to do this little pop-up window, and it's going to show you the last 30 days of price action. And then it's also going to show you right here in the upper right, this percentage to target. That shows you how much room the stock has left to get to that individual target now that it's changed. Right? So take that for what it's worth. And then you can sort, if you want to find stuff to short, bigger bearish ideas, you flip that, and then it's going to show you the biggest price target cuts. So XGN, these are a little tougher because you've got you got to factor in the fact that stocks tend to trend upward, right? But so even though this price target was lowered on Roblox, it's still higher than where it is today, right? So you have to kind of use your brain a little bit and figure out what's going on here with these analysts. But yeah, so there's a lot of different ideas that you can get on a daily basis. You can sort by price tick, by stock price range. Eventually, we're going to have it where you can sort it by market cap too, if you want to do that. Another thing too, you can sort by S&P 500 only if you don't want to. A lot of times you'll see these crazy price target increases on these biotechs that you've never heard of. So, I mean, if you want to avoid those, you can by just doing S&P 500. And did you want me to show you the hot sheet, AJ?
Well, yeah, I do want to see it. But I wanted you to answer one question I have. So
Okay.
I keep seeing notes, and you've said it a couple times. It's not a signal service, right? So
Right.
what would you say before we go look at the hot sheet? The most common mistake you see, traders or investors alike make, even when they have the right data right in front of them, like this.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the biggest mistake I would say is that they're not willing to really look into the full context of what's going on with a stock. People are so obsessed with charts and chart formations and moving averages. I like to know the story behind the story.
Yes.
And that's what you get with this.
Yes, that's what it's funny. We just had this conversation 3 times over the last 2 weeks with our program participants about when you get a signal on a chart, you need to verify it, validate it, understand the context, understand the story, at least do a cursory glance with some headlines. But with your tool, you can totally do a context, totally get the full picture. I'd love to overlay the 2 tools. Okay, let's look at your hot sheet.
Okay. All right. So this is up here in the second. This is the second tab at the top. And so Analyst Hot Sheet is kind of a fun way to name my backtesting tool. So the hot sheet, right? So when you come in here, it's by default, it's going to be set to 7 days, but you can go up to 60 days, in the past if you want to. And then there's going to be a bunch of presets you can have it use. I have it set to A and A+ setups only. So we'll keep it at that. And then if you scroll down, it's going to show you the best returns if you would have acted upon, or the best returns since analyst actions in the last 7 days on A and A+ setups only. So this ABOS is, something to do with medical care, pharmaceuticals, right? So you'll see a lot of these on here. Like I said, you can filter them out if you select S&P 500 only. But
Sure.
It's got 163% go to target. It's moved 25%. You can see the context. It was already rated a buy, so they couldn't upgrade it anymore. Only thing they could do was raise the price target, and they raised it a lot, from 4 to 7. So you go through here. There's some bearish ones too. This QNCX, another biotech name. They basically lowered the price target, and the stock has tanked since then. And then you kind of just go through, and here's one I wanted to bring up. So this is a big board stock here, STX. And on the same day, 2 days ago, this one had 3 notable, so from 360 to 450, 400 to 500, and 370 to 500 on the same day, right? So the stock has moved, and this is calculated, by the way, AJ, just so you know, this does not include the gap up. So analysts typically do their actions in the morning before the bell.
Yeah.
So we're not factoring in that gap, because we felt that if we factor in that gap, that's not really helpful for traders. So we want to let you know which actions led to notable moves, but only accounting for the action after the opening bell, right? Because gaps are funky, right? So that's a few examples. Now, if you want to again filter just S&P 500, boom, there you go.
I want a filter that, just so you know, for future feature requests, I want a filter that says these stocks are optionable.
Oh, there you go. Good
Yeah,
one.
so I could then, use my advanced option strategies as well as, buying the stock.
Okay. Well, I do have weekly options.
There you
I do have
go.
Yeah. There we go.
There it
Okay,
is.
so yep.
Cool.
Got a few here anyways, over the last 7 days. And I'll show you one more preset here, AJ. So let's see. So we'll do best TTG score. So that's trade the grade score. It's basically showing you which ones moved the fastest after an analyst upgrade. So like on day 1, day 2, day 3, they had notable moves. So here you got Southwest Airlines. Again, there's old SanDisk again. Lots of action on SanDisk, and we all know that's the memory trade, right, from the AI stuff. But yeah, so lots of ideas. I mean, there's from the folks that have signed up for it since we launched last year, everybody seems to generate their own ideas. People come and they go into our Discord, our members Discord, and they're sharing, and they're for the most part doing something a little bit different from each other, which I just find that so encouraging. Like I didn't build this to make it an alert service where it's like, hey, I'm taking this trade, follow me.
Right. It's a research tool, which is like, but it drills down and it filters out all the noise. That's what I really like about it.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, Sip.
I was just going to ask more about the details of the membership, and because I know people might ask, like, how much does this thing cost, and what comes with that. So what's your breakdown there?
Yeah, sure. So I've got a founding member rate going on right now. So I have 2 different answers to that question, Sip. So I have a founding member rate going on right now. So it's going to be, after I hit 100 members, it's going to go to $1,500 a year, right? Because the development costs and programmers and data fees and all that, they are what they are, right? And so right now it's $997. So you basically get $500 off until we get 100 members in the door. But in addition to that, I talked with AJ, and I told AJ, hey, I've been following AJ a long time. AJ didn't know it, but I have been following AJ a long time.
Matt and I ran into each other at this financial marketers summit that I was just at. And Matt said, "Oh, I know who you are." And I'm like, "Oh yeah?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I promoted something of yours about 15 years ago." I'm like, "What?" And then we started to retrace, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I went back to my hotel room and I looked up at my old, records of people who had promoted stuff for me. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is Matt."
Oh, really? You found it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I've got records. I'm a hoarder. But anyway, yeah. So that's how we reconnected. And then he's like, "Hey man, I got this tool." And I'm like, started to look at this thing and I'm like, this is gold.
I appreciate that, AJ. I appreciate that.
So you were saying there's a founder's rate of $997. Is that for a year?
Yeah, that's for a full year.
Okay.
But what I found is that, hey, I understand people, I do have a 14-day money back, but at the same time, I do understand where people are coming from. Like, hey, Matt, it looks great and everything, but, is there any way I can just try it out? And so I got, a few people asking me that. So I figured, well, there's a few people asking me that now. There's probably going to be a few hundred asking me that over the course of the next year. So, so yeah, I do have a 7-day trial, and I think SIP's going to post that link somewhere or something.
I think it's already up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's that's AJ's special referral link, guys, to get you a 7-day trial. Now, when you go through, you sign up. I do ask you to put your phone number in there. I do like to talk to everyone. So if you guys don't mind, I like to talk to you, and so I won't talk to you. I won't take too much of your time. It's kind of like to get a feel for folks, where they're at with their trading journey, and that way I can, and also kind of give you a little bit of a live walkthrough of the platform.
I see one of our users already typed into the chat, Matt, that they're ready for their onboarding call. In fact,
oh, really? Nice.
I think that folks are taking you up on your trial offer. Guys, this tool is, we talk about just doing, if you want to combine it with some of my strategies, we talk about doing a cursory glance at validation of signals. This tool is going to take it to the next level. But then also, I wanted to ask Matt, did this tool, have you with your trading style identified like 1 or 2 symbols that we should be looking at? Because the tool, can you give us kind of a hot list pick?
Sure. Yeah. So I was actually looking at it this morning, and I didn't see anything this morning that really caught my eye. It was the first day this week that nothing really caught my eye.
Mm-hmm.
But for yesterday, there was.
Okay.
So, and this is kind of a new, I guess, another thing I can point out about the platform, but you can use the calendar, and go back and look at any.
Oh, yeah.
So you can kind of do your own sort of back testing if you want to. So let's see here. So it was GLW. See if I can find it here.
Oh,
so
Corning.
Corning, yeah, Corning had some big, had a big analyst action yesterday.
Not only that, Corning just announced that they got a huge deal with their special new sauce of fiber optic to be able to power up the data centers and keep them talking to each other really well.
Yep. Yeah, here it is right here. So, so there's a couple of them from yesterday. So this one right here is one that really, there's one right here, this pretty good price target raise here. But this one right here from Susquehanna, and I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, but this is rated as an A setup, and it was a 20. So from a price raise from 100 to 125. I mean, for a stock like Corning, that's pretty substantial. And there wasn't really any. Sometimes you'll have an outlier where one analyst will downgrade it or cut the price target, but it was not the case yesterday. And so I really like this. I really like this Corning based on that. And I'll just pull up a chart real quick here. So it looks really good to me. I mean, yeah, you have the gap. I know there's some traders out there, you can't talk them out of it, that every gap gets filled, but it doesn't always, occur like that, guys, right? So I think this stock is definitely looking good. Obviously, the S&P 500 has to hold up, or else all bets are off, right? But I definitely like Corning for sure.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then you had one that really worked out for you like a month ago, you were telling me.
Oh yeah. Let me go back to that one real quick. So
I love that
was
you can go back and look at historical. I love that calendar function.
Yeah, I love it too. So
you're also going to have to tell me about AI Anna at some point.
I'm going to. Yeah, as long as you let me stay on, I'll keep talking, AJ. All right.
Yeah.
So give it a minute to think about it here. But yeah, there is one from December 8th, and there it is. Okay, so from December 8th, so you guys jog your memories back then. There was, see these twins, right? These are twins right here. So these are twin double downgrades of Netflix. So you had Pivotal Research and Rosenblatt downgrade it from the highest level on the scale, from level 5 buy or strong buys. Some Some firms call it strong buy. And they downgraded it 2 levels to hold. So that's notable. They also cut their price targets from 160 to 105. That's a huge cut. You can see it's kind of hard to read. Maybe we should work on that. But 34% drop in price target. This one had a 30%. So, seeing both of those the same day, and it wasn't even like the day after earnings. A lot of times you'll see a flurry of analyst actions the day after earnings. But this was like really interesting because it wasn't earnings related.
No.
And so, yeah, I mentioned that in the Discord for the folks that are a part of it. And so, if we'll just go to the chart here. I mean, the chart tells the rest of the story. Since December 8th, I mean, that was right here. I'm sorry, December 8th, right here. Yeah. So December 8th, we had, a little bit of a gap down, not much, but it's just a slow bleed lower ever since, even into earnings. So, just knowing to look for things like that, where it's not necessarily the individual analyst action, but it's the compilation of similar ones, especially like that really stood out to me for some reason, that they would take such a high conviction level, issue that outside of an earnings cycle. It just really stood out for me. So it's I mean, that's why I love it, because it gives you that insight into what Wall Street's doing. I think analysts have a really bad reputation with retail traders. They kind of look at them, oh, these analysts, what are they doing? They upgraded a stock after it's already up $100. So it's kind of like, I think people just kind of dismiss analyst actions, but you really, when you look at it in a really data centric way, you can, and plus use your kind of own skills that you develop when you use a tool like this over time, can really lead you to some great ideas.
Well, and I keep hammering with my program participants, Matt, about validating technical signals. And so I'm looking at my chart on Netflix, and I got a technical signal that was not giving me good pictures about anything on December 3rd. But if I got your confirmation or validation confidence builder in my signal on December 8th, and I shorted it, or I bought some, substitute put options far out in time, deep in the money put options, I would be up at least 50, if not 75% right now in my trade in just, a little over 40 days. So I love it, man. I love it.
Nice. Yeah.
So with that, everyone, the link to that 7-day free day access is in the chat. Head on over there. Like Matt said, he'd love to chat with you, because it's not so much a sales call. It's more of like, how can we have this tool help you with your strategy? And AJ, I could see you coming up with ideas as Matt's breaking down the software, and you've been using it. So what we're going to do for the rest of the show, Matt, if you don't mind sticking around for another 10, 12 minutes or so, is we're going to run through some of the names that AJ has had on his watch list, some of his setups, and then maybe we can defer to you and trade the grade to see if there's some validation there to kind of guess how the two might work together. AJ's approach, your software. And so with that, AJ, we've been looking. You want to pull up Rivian? So we've been chatting about Rivian. Yeah. Where are you at with this?
Well, so this was a candidate, Matt, that we were looking at actually doing a swing trade up on. However, the signal has stagnated, and so we're wondering about a reversal down. It looks like in the last week it's actually played out on that continued reversal down. It never gave us the swing trade up, but I want to get your insights. Can we use your tool to, instead of giving us the insights moving forward, we could actually test some of our theories that we've got from other things? Can we pull up a ticker symbol and see what your tool says about that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So it's basically going to show you, the last 30 days. I can search any ticker. It'll show me the last 30 days worth of analyst actions. This 2-day monster move right here. AJ,
yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Rivian. Somebody might argue this, that's arguable, but this was actually, the catalyst for this was actually analyst upgrades.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So December 18th. So let me go back and look at December 18th. I could be wrong. My memory. I mean, that was before Christmas. So, but let me look here.
A lot of eggnog.
Oh, that's January. Sorry.
But I guess AJ, the question is you would put Rivian on your hot list to see if there's anything new coming from analysts today to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? To kind of help you with the next
help me
leg.
decide whether, basically, do I want to use a long or a short option trading strategy on this? I was thinking long, but I didn't get that signal, and instead, it seems to be decaying here as we go into earnings. Earnings is scheduled for February 12th. So, what are we thinking?
Okay. So while that thinks about it here, I'm looking through. Maybe I'm mistaken here. I know there was some action. Like I said, memory might not serve me as best as it should. But with Rivian, you can any stock you can add it to a watch list. So like you can see all these stocks I have over here on my watch list right here, guys.
Sure.
And there it goes. There's the so it's got a D overall grade right now, guys.
Okay, so I think that validates it for me that indeed this reversal down we're seeing, we should probably play that, and then be aware if we've got Matt's tool. Be aware of February 12th. We're looking to see if we get any sort of insights going into that earnings session.
All right, so that's Rivian. The second name that we've been chit-chatting about this week is Bank of America, ticker symbol BAC. Where you at with this one, AJ?
Same thing. So this time, again, these are trades that we were setting up for as swing trades, and we were questioning Bank of America. We got a follow-through signal yesterday, but today it's already kind of petering out. What should we be thinking about with Bank of America, ticker BAC?
Okay, so the most recent actions on this one are looks like January 5th. So it's been a little bit, but it's the sentiment rating overall, right? So this is not specific isolating an analyst action or two, it's all of them. So out of 6 top tier firms, the AI analysis here gives it a C, which is, I guess, kind of neutral, with a bullish lean to it. But basically, sort of a nothing burger, I guess, on Bank of America, AJ, which might be good for you, because I know you do a lot of premium selling.
Yeah, if we got into this and it stalled on us, we could put a collar on it and then, sell premium, buy a protective option, basically define our max risk or our max reward and even min reward if we lock in some profits. So, maybe this one continues to be a swing trade for us.
And AJ, you're a big fan of the boring nothing burgers, so maybe that's a good confirmation of those.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. If it's not in the news and it's boring, and even more, they give a nice dividend so investors don't care if there's asset appreciation. I'm stoked to sell premium on that and turn it into an income generator for me.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, AJ. Our third name here is Apple. Is that what we want?
No. American Airlines, AAL.
Okay, yeah, AAI. Yeah, is missing the P. American Airlines.
All right. So what we just went through earnings on that. Anything from your tool on American Airlines?
Yeah, just I just want to button up something real quick. So I had the setup grade filter was selected too high, but yeah, the Rivian did get a huge price target range raise on December 18th. So I knew my memory wasn't too rusty.
Yeah, good.
Okay. And that was pre-market, by the way. So what was the last one you said again, AJ?
American Airlines, ticker AAL.
Okay. Got you.
And while that's loading, AJ, what's your setup on this? What's your logic here?
Well, again, we're looking for whether or not this is going to be a swing trade pop up, meaning it'll be a bullish trade that catches us, that does well for us in a short amount of time, or if it continues to go down in a trend reversal pattern. And maybe we could turn this into a premium trade. For the longest time, this was a great premium trade. Then it started to appreciate on us, started to show us patterns for a swing trade. But now we're back into, well, we don't know. We don't know. It's kind of in that limbo phase right now with its pattern.
Sure. So anyways, the trade the grade for this one is a C as well, but it's a little more enthusiastic. It's got a 30-day price target of 2.5% higher where it is now. Consensus price target is 19, and you've got a good slew of analyst actions here from the last 30 days. AJ, you've got a couple that are even A ranked. So yeah, the American Airlines looks good from the analyst community.
Okay, so maybe we'll wait for that bottom signal, and the analyst community is giving us a thumbs up if we've got volume validation, if we've got what we need to see. We've got that extra bit of confidence to say it might be all right to do a swing trade. We'll wait for that bottom to be found and move up. We're still within our channel, so we're good. That's cool. That's so useful. Go ahead, Sip.
I was gonna say, what a wonderful tool to kind of go back and get some sentiment feelings about what very intelligent, savvy analysts, people in the markets have to say about these names.
Yeah. How does the AI Anna work? We've got like 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, let me load her up here. So you guys appreciate my play on words here. AI Anna with one N, like AI analyst. So anyway, yeah. I thought that was pretty clever.
I picked up on that. I thought that was cool.
Okay, so there's actually 2 ways to use Anna right now. So I'll try to go quick. But obviously, most people are fascinated with the aspect of AI doing the sort of stock picking for them. So, you can see here's a bunch of recommendations that I had to generate for me, and then I close out the trades, mostly winners. And then here's a few that are active for me. Now, we'll just go, what you tell me, AJ, you want to do both bullish and bearish, bullish only or bearish only, and then and then I'll generate some. We'll do swing trade. Both?
Let's do both.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
please.
So 3 ideas. Let's give her a few seconds to think about it. And usually takes just a couple more seconds, and then the results she'll spit them out for us here, right underneath the glowing yellow button. All right, drum roll.
I mean, for it to even be working this fast is impressive. Being able to siphon all that data.
Yeah, it's taking a little longer than usual. There it goes. All right, so 2 bearish for you, AJ, and 1 bullish. So just looking at these tickers, I know United Health offhand. The other 2, I don't know. Let's see. Allegro Microsystems. Okay, I had never heard of them. PFSI, PennyMac Financial Services. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, you're going to come here and you're going to see these are swing trade ideas because you had swing trade selected. Your trade setup, which is your suggested entry, stop, target, risk reward ratio, all that jazz. And then it has a confidence level, which is self-explanatory. And then you can get the details. So let's look at United Health. So bearish on United Health, it's going to tell you, the criteria for the trade, the entry, exit, stop. And then what I really like is the reasoning. So it's going to tell you right here, Barclays maintained overweight, blah, blah, blah. It's going to give you sort of an overview as to why that analyst action makes sense, that it's using as the catalyst for the trade idea right there in that section there.
I love it.
Wonderful.
Yep. I love it. Love everything about it.
Okay, so can I show you one more thing about Anna though, real quick before?
Yeah.
She actually does 2 things for us now.
Okay.
So if I go over here to today's results, and let's say I want to get the context for some of these. Okay, so let's do SanDisk, Southwest, one of these, and one of these. Okay, so I have the context queue loaded up with these 4. All right, so when you're on free trial, you only get to use it once a day, but if you're a premium member, you get to use it up to 3 times a day, and you can up to 15 tickers per queue. So she's going to think about it again for a minute, and then she's going to generate us a nice little context report that gives us an idea of why these actions occurred, right? So you click on that, and then boom, you got the most bullish idea right here and the most bearish. It gives you a nice summary of everything, and then it'll go one by one. Okay, the SanDisk action, the why, the potential sympathy plays that you could trade in sympathy with this stock if it moves, as bullishly, if it's a bullish action. And yeah, so that's and then at the bottom of it, it's going to give you the summary for the most bullish and the most bearish one.
This is like a tool that, if you had analysts or even just folks working for you that would be surfing the web trying to find this information, you'd wind up paying more than just your annual fee just to have them do it on one stock. That's amazing.
Right on, man. When we finally got it launched, I was like, wow,
that really scratches your itch, but it scratches everybody else's itch too. That's powerful.
So Matt, once again, for everybody viewing, we appreciate the demo. It's very thorough. It's in depth. It's innovative. AJ, you correct me if I'm wrong, but we haven't really seen anything like this in in our guests or even just in the network. So congratulations, Matt, on getting this up and running and having it be so innovative. The UI and UX is also very impressive as well. So kudos to the team that you have working on this. To our lovely viewers, hopefully you like this as much as AJ likes this, and you want to get access, you want to check it out. So the link to that is in the chat. Once again, we'll probably be following it up with an email, posting it on social. So we do want you guys to go check it out. Matt, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Any final words to the viewers out there?
Well, the pleasure was all mine, and thank you, Sip, and thank you, AJ. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on, and really glad I got to meet you a few weeks ago, AJ. And so the words of wisdom I would just say is, if you're a self-directed trader and you've got a little bit of experience under your belt, which I know probably 99% of AJ's viewers do, why wouldn't you want to at least try it? To see if you can generate some actionable ideas from it.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the time, Matt. Good luck with everything. We'll stay in touch. Stay safe and have a good weekend.
Take care, Matt.
Thanks. You guys do the same.
AJ, that may have been the most thorough that we've gone into a platform or software with the guests on the show today.
Damn. That thing is turbocharged. I'm telling you, I've been telling all my program participants, look for validation signals. I mean, this thing is like having a room full of analysts working for you, taking a look at what actual analysts are doing. That's just phenomenal that it's all in one place. I wonder what it looks like on mobile.
Yeah, I think what clicked for me was the Rivian, because we were very bullish, optimistic. And then once we looked under the surface, we're like, not everyone is as bullish as we are. So that's interesting. All right. So hopefully everybody can access the link. Go to the chat, check it out. AJ, we are a little bit over time here. Any final words heading into the weekend, to the end of January? Thoughts? Concerns?
No, I'm excited. It's the last day of trading in January. Next week, we're going to take a look. Typically January spells out what the rest of the year is going to be. So we'll take a look at what January did, and we'll get an idea of what the year will do. So that's kind of some palate wetting for next week's show.
And with that, once again, folks, we were sharing Matt's link a little bit there. We've got AJ's quick links as well. All of AJ's goodies, access to his socials, the free indicator suite. Go show some love. Hit that like, hit that follow, hit that subscribe button. If you want to learn more about premium selling as we continue to see more chop and sideways action in the overall market, that's a great resource for you to access and learn some of these initial strategies. There's information about joining Trading Trainer as the program as a whole. And then we've got custom coaching. So access to all that is in the chat. Head on over there. If you have any questions, hit that contact button, send us a DM, leave a comment. Someone will get back to you. Otherwise, with that, AJ, I'm going to wish you all the best and hope you and the family stay warm. And we'll catch everybody next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the AJ Brown Show. If you're interested in learning more about AJ and his investing techniques, head on over to tradingtrainer.com and create your free account today. And if you're not already a subscriber to the show, hit that subscribe button and we'll